Yeah, beautiful. Welcome to Tuesday Talks with Darleen, and I've got the amazing Marguerita with us. Now, Marguerita is a conscious business and mindset coach, light worker, EFT tapping practitioner, author, and speaker. And her mission is to help people unlock the power within them by clearing the limiting stories and belief systems so they can make their dreams reality. And everyone deserves to live life on their terms. And when you change your mindset, everything changes. So welcome so much to come along.
Hi, thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me to speak to your audience, Darleen.
You're welcome. And we're going to talk about, you've put down that you love to talk about unstoppable mindsets. I'm really excited about that because mindset is a big thing for me, especially having mental health challenges. I'm very open about that. And for other people that may have that as well, but even just being in business, that's a big mindset thing as well. So tell me more about what you actually do and how you help women and just whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. So my backstory is that I came from corporate. I was in soul-sucking jobs. So I would just jump from job to job to job because it was just like, I would be there for 6 months and like, right, I can't do this anymore. So I then jumped to another job. So my employment record was not great. But there was just something within me that just really wanted something more. And I trained as an opera singer. So I was working in corporate, I was training as an opera singer. And, I wanted that dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of went searching for a lot of things and found so many amazing things along the way. I sang with a lady who was also a personal trainer. And I went, right, well, I love health and I'm fit and I'm healthy and I love to work out. So I'll become a personal trainer. So I became a personal trainer and I started doing that. And then, of course, it tends to be quite a natural progression for personal trainers to move into personal development. So I started doing a lot of personal development, a lot of mindset stuff. And then The Secret came out and What the Bleep Do We Know? And then I went down those rabbit holes and I was just insatiable. And then tapping showed up. So for anybody who's not familiar with emotional freedom technique or EFT tapping, it is a powerful transformation technique. And I became obsessed with that. I was like, all my friends, I had to do tapping with them. And I was getting comments from people, like I was doing it for free. And I was just had no freaking idea what I was doing, by the way. And I just mused, like, this is an amazing technique. You've got to try it.
Yep.
And I had people saying to me, I've been having therapy for 2 years and I've gotten more out of one session with you than I have out of 2 years of therapy. And it's like, what? Wait, really?
Yep.
So this really stimulated me to go more down that pathway and just really, I'm very, very good at helping to get underneath people's real blocks. So finding what their blocks are and helping them to become aware. So, and then helping them to release those blocks. So the big key is finding what somebody's block is so you can then release it. And or not so you can release it, so you can help them to release it. And it's one of these things that we are so programmed and conditioned into these limitations, fears, doubts, limiting beliefs. Even people who have mental health issues, this comes from our programming and our conditioning, and then our experiences just compound that. And to be able to kind of unlock the power that is within people to overcome whatever challenge they're facing, that just makes my heart sing. So, and, it's been sort of like for the last 15 years, I've been sort of going down that path of really helping people to find that special spark within them, because we are, each and every one of us are infinitely powerful. And when you can embody that and embrace it, it's like, that's when you become unstoppable. When you really acknowledge that okay, even if I'm in a challenging place right now, I am bigger than this challenge. I am bigger than any challenge I will ever face. And when you can know and embody that, like anything becomes possible. So that's why I'm so passionate about mindset. So that was a very long story answer to your question, but
no, that's brilliant. And you can see that passion come out. It's so awesome. And I love how you talk about the beliefs in that, because that's what happened with me, because, you know, I'm an artist and I really had to let go of the beliefs, because I had beliefs from teachers who said, no, you're not an artist, or paintings are never finished, and all this kind of stuff. So I had all those beliefs and I had to let go of them. And it's just like, and I love how you talk about that. And I would love for you to talk about how you find that EFT is really talk more about how it really does help the mindset. Like, what does it do specifically?
absolutely. So the tapping process uses the acupressure points of the body. So we know that acupuncture has been used by Eastern cultures for a couple of thousand years to help unblock those meridian points that stop the flow of chi. So we know that we are all energy. What the bleep do we know? If you haven't seen that movie, it's freaking awesome. And it talks about quantum science and how we are all just packets of energy. They've gone into the smallest sort of the smallest particle they could possibly find, and there's nothing there. Because we are all vibrating packets of energy. So when you're whatever conditioning you have, whatever beliefs you have that are limiting beliefs, or whatever trauma you have, they put these blocks within your chi. So what you do is you don't actually have to stick needles in you. I'm not saying that acupuncture is not great. Acupuncture is freaking amazing. And I've been to an acupuncturist with amazing results, but you can actually use the major meridian points to stimulate them to release blocked energy. And what you do is, while you're tapping, is you focus on what am I experiencing right now that I want to release? Is it a physical pain? Is it a letting go of a limiting belief? Is it a fear that I'm having right now? Is it an emotion that I want to release? Because the thing is that often we are stuck because we have trapped emotion. So, and our trapped emotions are because there is something that we have experienced in our previous life. In this life, I also do believe in past lifetimes and that bringing that stuff through too, but we're not going to, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But something that we've experienced, we had an emotion, we didn't process it, so we lock it down because we don't actually, our environment doesn't equip us with the emotional intelligence to process the anger, the sadness, the grief, the frustration, the disappointment, the humiliation, all those things that every single one of us experiences, because mostly we don't have the emotional intelligence to go, I feel humiliated right now. What am I going to do to release that, overcome it, blah, blah, blah. We're kind of like, I don't know what to do with this, so I'll stick it away somewhere. And this is where we create dis-ease within the body, because these blocked chi ends up creating disease and imbalance in the body. So what the tapping does is, once you focus on that fear, sadness, grief, trauma, physical pain, it gives you the opportunity to actually release that blocked energy and create extraordinary transformation. You won't change the past. The past happened. But for every single one of us, we tend to relive it. We get humiliated once or twice, and then we think about that situation and we relive the humiliation. It's not even happening, but we're reliving it. We lose a loved one, and we lose that loved one once. They don't go and then come back and then go and then come back and then go and then come back for us to relive it. We then think about the fact that we lost that person and we relive the feeling of loss. So it's being able to release our emotional attachment to these things that helps to release the triggers and the driving force within our life that might be perpetuating unhelpful habits, behaviors. We repeat our story. So we grab hold onto this story and then we make it as if it defines us.
Yes.
We grab a hold of a diagnosis or something that somebody says about us. They put us into this box and then we become that. It's like, oh, this now defines me. They've said I am, so I must be. And this becomes a part of our story.
Yeah.
So it's really important that we find ways to create our own identity, an identity that supports who we are becoming, who we want to be in the world. And then we own that, not what somebody else told us that we need to be or have to be or that we are. There are hundreds of people in your life who will tell you you're stupid, you're not good enough, you don't have the mindset, you don't have the brains, you don't have the resources. Who do you think you are? You can allow those people to define you. Exactly.
Yeah,
you've got these challenges. How do you think you're ever going to achieve that? You know, like, get real. Dream stealers. You can allow them to define you, or you can recognize that you are an infinitely powerful being with a purpose, with skills and talents and unconscious competences and superpowers and gifts here to be able to do something extraordinary. And you can take that and run with it.
Yeah. And there's a couple of things that you said that really relate to me. Like, I can really see how it relates to me. First one was about reliving our stories. Now, when I was doing my nursing, I did do what's called a trainee enrolled nurse program through TAFE. Then I went to uni. While I was at uni, there was a patient and I had the consultant and my head teacher at me going, so what's wrong with this patient? Tell me all about him. And I just went, what the heck, like outside the patient's room. And I just went, oh my goodness. And I relived that. And so for quite a few years, I'm like, I don't really seem to know much and all that. Like, I was an amazing nurse, incredible. Yet that story ran through my head, like totally ran through my head. And then the other one was about identity. Now, I spent 30 years in the healthcare field on the front line. That was my identity. And I didn't realize it until I did the diploma of counselling and suddenly realised that I got out of nursing, like it was really, really quick because things happened and I just went, that's it, I'm done. And then it wasn't until oh, yeah, I'm just so grateful that I'm now in business. It's like, and now creating art, it's like far out. My joy. But
makes your soul come alive, doesn't it?
Does it ever? Like, I could do it all day, like all day, every day. But yeah, doing the diploma of counselling, we started talking about grief. And of course, being in the healthcare field, well, there's only one form of grief, isn't there? No, it's so many. So I had to grieve leaving my identity behind and then forming a new identity. And I went, what the heck? And that's why, all of these practices are so amazing. And, like I've used EFT myself and it's incredible. And what I would love for you to do is the listeners, how can they work on their mindset? Do they have to work on it every single day with EFT, or can it be, a casual thing, or every week, or how is the best way to work with it?
Well, I mean, there are many, many, many different methodologies, strategies, techniques to help you to shift your mindset. And it's a muscle. So just as if you just say you wanted to become, maybe you're not fit and healthy right now, or you're not in the best shape and you wanted to get in great shape, would you go once a month or once a week to the gym and expect to become really buff and win the next, Miss Universe?
Of course.
Exactly. It just happens so easily. Or would you get somebody to guide you, to give you a plan to follow? And would you adjust your diet? Would you go and show up to the gym 5, 6 times a week to be able to reshape your body? Would you adjust your habits? Would you get up earlier in the morning? And that's the way to achieve anything that you want. Gold medal athletes don't become gold medal athletes because they show up once a month or once a week to train. Now, you may not want to become a gold medal anything, but if you want change in your life, then you must change. So, and that, because our habits are so ingrained, we have these neural pathways that it's a bit like, I always relate it to, did you ever go to university campus?
Yeah, when I did my nursing, I was on.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's so much online learning these days that, but I was the same. I went to a university campus and it reminded me of very few people actually followed the concrete paths. You would find these well-worn paths through the grass that thousands of students took every day and reinforced every day, just because there's the path and we're going to follow that path. Your neural pathways are very much the same. They get locked in, and changing that path is like choosing to go on a different grass verge and then reinforcing it. This is why I love techniques like EFT tapping, because it can actually really shortcut the process. So it helps to release the old neural pathway and start to create a new neural pathway. But it is your daily habits that reinforce it. So the more you do the inner work, the more you find that you change, that your beliefs change, that your trajectory changes. And I have not found a single person who has said, oh, you can do this overnight. It's like, it is a process. And as long as you're dedicated to the process, you can journal, you can write affirmations, you can do tapping, you can use NLP. There's so many different ways and strategies. Meditation is amazing. Listening to high frequency audio is amazing. I also do a lot of sound healing. It's amazing for shifting your frequency and vibration. So, and it doesn't have to be hard, but it does have to be done. So it's and it's finding a practice that works for you. Not saying that practice is always going to be easy. And facing your fears is one of the hardest things you will ever have to do. And that is a part of the process. So it's being able to recognize and acknowledge what those fears are. Once you know what they are, then you can actually disarm them, basically, release your emotional attachment to them so you can walk forward confidently in your life.
And do you find with the deeper core beliefs that you do have to work on them a few times before they do actually then go? Or can it be, like a one-off thing and then the next belief and next belief?
Very rarely do you get a one and done. So what I use myself, as lots of clients that I've worked with, but I use myself as the perfect example, is that I was bullied at school as a young kid. And that just ingrained in me, don't step out and be seen and all this stuff, because you'll get ridiculed, you'll get bullied, you'll get criticized. It's painful, it's horrible. And oh my Lord, that stuff, just because we build like this network around it. So it might be one limiting belief, but then we build so much reinforcement around it, because our subconscious mind has two jobs. One is to keep us safe, and one is to reinforce the beliefs that it already has. So it's constantly looking for reinforcement as to, see, told you. Reinforce that belief, reinforce that belief, reinforce that belief. So it builds this network, and that they talk about the onion. It's often like peeling an onion. If you can get to the very core, you can actually release a whole lot of it. But more often than not, you will find different aspects, because we are such multidimensional beings. So there will be different aspects that comes up. So people say, oh, when am I ever going to get it done? It's like, you never get it done. Just Make it a part of your daily routine, a bit like healthy eating. If you want to be fit and healthy, then make healthy eating a part of your daily lifestyle. If you want to be at peace internally, then make meditation a part of your daily lifestyle. If you want to be massively successful, then make massive action a part of your daily lifestyle. You know, there's, and I believe this is the perfect setup for our experience here on this planet. Spirit's having a human experience. And that if it were all just handed to us, yeah, it might be nice initially, but man, it would be boring as bat's poo. Let's just say that. I wanted to say something else, but I'll say that. It would be so incredibly boring and uninspiring and disinteresting. Like, oh man, right, well, this is easy. Okay, twiddle my thumbs. I want something. Oh, there it is. Okay, great, thanks. Okay, got anything I want. What's next? This is one of the reasons that quite often we create drama. We create everything. So we create drama because it's like, we can't get bored. So as soon as life starts to get a little bit boring, and this is where I say choose your challenges, because if you don't choose your challenges, they will choose you. If you don't decide to step into a greater version of you and to reach for something and to follow your dream, you'll get challenges along the way. You'll experience failure along the way, big time. But if you don't do that, then life will choose challenges for you. And let me tell you, they're going to be a lot less interesting and a lot, they're just not going to be as much fun as the challenges that you choose for yourself. So decide from this moment right now to choose your challenges, and whatever you are facing right now, decide that you will find a way to get over it, through it, under it, to just overcome it in whatever way that looks. So to be the best that you can be in every single moment, to acknowledge that we all have limitations, that we all have things that hold us back, that we all have fears and doubts, that we all have our own unique story. But that doesn't have to stop you from being the best version of you right now, celebrating that and thinking, well, yeah, I have this challenge, or I have this specific thing. But if you look at all the people who have ever achieved anything great, and you look at some of the challenges that they overcame, and some of the, one small thing that comes to mind is some of the most successful people in the world was dyslexic. Like, they looked really dumb in school, and the teachers, particularly of our generation, would have said, you'll never amount to anything. Like, you can't read properly, you're terrible at writing, you're a crap learner, you're never going to become anything. Learn to be a mechanic or do something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with mechanics. Yeah. Mechanics are great. They fix my car. Yeah. But if somebody's going to say you never amount to anything, pick something that's not going to take a whole lot of mental aptitude, and you allow that to define you, no. Decide that is the thing that you are going to be known for, is overcoming the things that people see that they believe limit you, because nothing limits you.
Exactly. That's so true. And I really felt like you were looking at my window when you were talking about drama. It's like, no, that's not me. But it certainly was in the past. It was drama because I felt that, I needed the attention that I hadn't got as a child. I hadn't got that attention. So let's create it so I get the attention. And it's amazing when you actually look at your stuff with something like EFT and you go, whoa, okay, yes. Right.
Absolutely. I had a coach who, one of his favorite phrases, and I won't drop the F-bomb here, but one of his favorite phrases was, we're all effed up.
Oh, yeah. And
we pretty much are, and there isn't a person on the planet who has everything figured out. I don't care. I'm just listening to some stuff with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, who are doing this big free thing at the moment. Now, I'm not necessarily a massive fan of Tony Robbins. He's helped millions of people, and I admire him greatly. But he's one of these titans in the industry that I'm a part of. And if you look at where he came from, and he let nothing stand in his way and to become the person he is, but he's nothing special. And even him, you know, he has challenges in his life, and he's always pushing himself, and he's always reaching for more, and he's reaching for feeding 1 billion people. So you know, giving 1 billion meals to people in the United States, which is extraordinary. But I guarantee you ask him, he would say, I haven't got it all figured out, you know. And anybody who says they have, they're lying, or they're delusional, or both.
So, well, you know, that's me. I've got it all figured out. I'm sure I have.
Finally, I have met the one person who I've been looking for, Darleen.
Oh, now if I had it all figured out, I'd actually have celebrities come to me for my art workshops.
Well, and who's to say that you won't?
Oh, it'll happen, because I've actually seen it, because I'm very psychic, and I've actually seen it happen. So it will happen.
That is freaking brilliant.
Yep, and my paintings will sell for 7 figures.
I had a client years ago who she was actually in an SEO business. She loved art, but she also loved business, and she was running the SEO business. And man, it was financially hungry. So actually being able to generate a profit. So she was generating, you know, well over 6 figures. She was into, you know, well into the 6 figures. But for it to actually turn a profit, because it was really financially. And this was a fair while ago with my coaching, but I just felt that something was off. Something was just really off. And I said to her a couple of times, are you sure that this is your thing? She's like, yes, this is my thing. I went, okay. So we kept going down that path. And eventually her doctor, she loved her, but she was a bit of a stress head. And so she had some health challenges, and eventually her doctor just said to her, you have to stop this business. She's like, what? No, I can't stop my business. Well, it's going to kill you. Right. Okay. So she took a step back. She just closed it down. She's one of those people who's kind of like, right, I'm just stopping. Then she stepped into her artwork. Now she sells her artwork now for tens of thousands of dollars. Hollywood, they're buying her artwork. So, and it was a huge flip for her to stop being, again, identity. I'm the person who does SEO and helps people with their SEO, to, oh, now I'm an artist. Like you. I'm a nurse. Now I'm an artist. What? You know, like, and big shift. But you can become anything that you want to be, anything that lights you up, anything that is in here. And the one thing I use specifically for artists who aren't valuing their work, I say, have you ever seen the painting The Red Square?
No, I don't think I have, actually. Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. And it have to sold for like 7 figures or something, didn't it?
It sold for, last time I think it sold for $80-something million. US. So, and I look at that, and admittedly, I've never seen it up close. So it's not on my bucket list, but it's like a red square. Some dude paid $86 million for a red square. Look at all the beautiful artwork you have behind you that would crap all over the red square, in my opinion. Somebody paid $86 million for the red square. Like, that's still like,
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
So if you don't value what it is that you offer, then who else is going to?
Exactly. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I could talk to you forever. I really could. Like
I could talk forever.
This conversation could go for hours. Now, I would love for you, I'm going to have it in the description as well, so people, please go and check Marguerita out. What is the one channel that you would love people to actually go and find you?
Okay, so probably for this audience right now, I would go to wealthconsciousnessmovement.com. You can register there for free, get access to an entire library of EFT tapping videos and transformational content. And just there's a wealth of transformation in there, all available for free. So wealthconsciousnessmovement.com, come and join the community. And I'm always doing new videos on so many different subjects. So like I said, I could talk underwater. So I record lots of videos, lots of content to help you to overcome whatever challenge it is that you are facing right now. Because if you take nothing else away from this, just know that anything is possible, and that you are capable of achieving more than you could possibly imagine, because you are infinitely powerful. So just know that, and that no matter what challenge you're facing, you are bigger than that challenge. I guarantee it.
Oh, I love that. That is so beautiful. Thank you again. And for the listeners, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I will be doing more interviews. And I think I'll be having Marguerita back again, because there's a couple of other topics that I want to talk about as well. So thank you very much,
love
Marguerita.
Thank you, Darleen. It's an honor and a pleasure.